Welcome to Macon, Georgia. We are...
I had nothing to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought of something, but nothing came out. So.
We are in Macon for a pickleball tournament, and tonight we are headed down to downtown Macon to check out the lights and all the stuff they got going on there. So
I'm pretty excited about that. I think we're gonna have a good time.
I think
We're gonna
so.
grab something to eat. We're gonna
grab
check out
something
the
to eat.
lights.
There's like 3 breweries within walking distance of the lights, so
Yeah,
we'll check it out and see what we can see.
and we're gonna take an Uber and let you know all about how that goes.
Yeah, first time in a little while that we've taken an Uber. We don't have Ubers in our little town.
No, they do not.
Here we go. So we have arrived at Fall Line Brewing in downtown Macon. We're about a block to a block and a half from the Macon Christmas Light Extravaganza.
And can I just say, we had a little tiny peek. It looks so awesome. I
Yeah.
cannot wait.
We just drove past the street before we got out of our Uber, and it looks pretty amazing. So
And we had a nice Uber ride.
yeah, we did. Looks like our food's ready.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna show you our food and our drinks. So this is the brisket sandwich, which comes with a whole bunch of stuff on it that I'll try to put up on the screen now. And that is Lori's CB&J, which is cashew butter,
Bacon Swiss
bacon
and
Swiss with bacon,
bacon Swiss,
bacon
fig
Swiss,
jam,
fig jam,
and cashew butter.
cashew butter.
And
Huh,
then-
looks interesting. And of course, all of our beers here. We're gonna try a little bit of everything. What's that?
This is the Oktoberfest because everything else is like ginger sour or vinegar.
All right, so that's a initial lesson for all you beer tasters out there. Start from the least flavorful and move to the most flavorful, so that you don't wreck your palate by drinking an IPA or a Russian
Sour.
Imperial Stout or a sour or something first.
All right, Oktoberfest. It's pretty clear. Color. What do you think about the color?
Color looks spot on
All right.
for an Oktoberfest.
And so I'm gonna go for 2 sips because one to taste, one to acclimate your palate, and one to actually taste. So whatever I had on my palate before, it should be mostly gone. I would say that it tastes more like a fest beer to me. It's light. It's a pretty solid beer.
Oktoberfest, like Lori says, it's got a nice color, good clarity, not much aroma. A little bit light on the carbonation, but I kind of had that with one of the other beers I tasted earlier, so it's I'd say it's definitely an Oktoberfest. I mean,
More
a
than
fest
a
beer
fest
is going to
beer?
be, yeah.
I just thought it was lighter in flavor for an
But yeah,
Oktoberfest.
it is a little bit muted in the flavors. Little to no hop profile, like a lot of Oktoberfest. But overall, it's not bad. I mean,
Definitely drinkable.
yeah, it's definitely drinkable. It's not under attenuated or over attenuated, so it's a good beer.
I don't really know what it is other than nut something, so
It's
gonna-
Nuck if you Buckingham, whatever that means. It's an English pub ale.
And what's significant about an English pub ale?
Not much. It's kind of a generic description.
Okay.
So it's just a generic pub ale. So
Okay. So I don't get. It feels very thin in mouthfeel. I do get some prickly on the tongue from the carbonation, and I do taste some roast on there. What would the roast be coming from? I get some roast, maybe like burnt toast is not good, but it's like a roasty, but then I get bready at the end.
Yeah, their description says a bold and earthy English pub ale with a dry biscuity character, medium bodied with nutty undertones and a touch of citrusy acidity. This beer offers a pungent yet balanced flavor that's both satisfying and distinctive, perfect for those who appreciate a hearty traditional pub ale.
Okay.
All right.
I did get the bready after the fact, though.
So let me try this English pub ale and see what we've got here. Get a little bit of the bready, nutty type character. Again, it seems a little bit low in carbonation. I didn't watch it being poured, but of course by now it's been sitting around for a few minutes. That could be the reason for it, but overall, I'd say it's a solid for what it's trying to do. It'd just be a pub ale. Next up is the Seeds and Salts Watermelon Goza. This watermelon goza blends refreshing watermelon with a touch of sea salt and coriander for a tart, salty yet invigorating brew. Okay, guys, just a note here about a goza. A goza should never taste salty. It's not appropriate. There is some salinity in the water. Leipzig, I believe, is where gozas were originally from. Some salinity, but it should not be to the point where it tastes salty. Think more like Gatorade. It's got a little bit of salt in it, but it should never taste salty. That is not a goza.
I mean, I liked everything but the watermelon. And I like watermelon flavor.
Yeah, the watermelon does taste artificial.
But once I got past that,
may not be as salty as I thought it should be, as I thought it. They led you to believe it was, but it is extremely acidic. I don't know what the pH is on it, but it's. I think it's probably a bit lower than a traditional goza. But then again, I'm a traditionalist, so.
You are.
All right, it's this one right here.
Oh, you already tried it.
Yeah, the next one up is the Apple Bottom Bourbon Easy Ale.
Now this looks a little hazy.
Yeah, so the Easy Ale
What
is
is an
supposed
easy
to be
ale?
hazy. It's similar to Kolsch.
Oh, okay.
It's easy drinking ale, light with
Ooh.
a faint touch of sweetness in its finish. Now, with that, they combined some apple cider concentrate and apparently put it in a bourbon barrel.
I mean, just by smelling it, I feel like I'm eating dessert. So
Yeah, that's kind of what it smelled like. I got like brown sugar
Yep.
and
Yep. Apple.
of course the apple and
The brown sugars are reminding me of cinnamon, but I don't get cinnamon. It's weird. It's my smeller. All right, you ready? Here we go. Doesn't taste anything like I thought it would from the smell. I get apple. I wonder if that's caramel. Like I almost got like, hold on.
well, you probably get some vanilla from the bourbon barrel, but I don't know.
Is it possible to get mint?
I don't know
I don't
why
know.
you would. You can definitely get the wood age in the nose, the bourbon barrel. Yeah, I can see how you could get caramel from that flavor because that bourbon barrel aging just really makes a very complex flavor on this beer. There's a lot going on in it.
There is.
I mean, this was one that you may want, a half pour or something like that on. I don't know that you could sit there and drink that all night long, but
there's a lot of things going on, so that's why I was hoping that you might be able to help describe that. Do you get mint at all?
no, but I almost get bubblegum flavor.
Oh, could that be where? I mean,
Yeah,
okay.
it does kind of come off as a little bit of a bubblegum flavor, which is tends to be thought of as a flaw.
Could be, yes.
But yeah, there's a lot of different things going on in the flavor on this beer.
Not a bad beer.
Not bad, just definitely a unique and different take. All right, guys, we're going to move on to the IPA now.
Why?
Well, why? Because two of the other beers that we have are sours. We already did a sour we probably should not have. It was a lot more sour than I thought it would be as a Goza.
Well, that's why we chose it.
So we're going to move on to the IPA because the sours really just will tend to wreck your palate and you won't be able to taste anything else. And Lori's not going to try
I am going to try it.
the Irish Red. Are you going to try the Irish
Try
coffee?
it.
All right.
I will always take one for the team.
Then we'll try the Irish coffee after the IPA and before the more intense sours that we've got here. So first up, well, this IPA is I guess it's their flagship IPA. It's a Norse Heart, is the name of it. It's a juicy West Coast IPA, something about Norwegian yeast and tropical citrus flavors. So we'll see what comes through on it. It's
Definitely hazy.
definitely hazy, which is not what you'd expect for a West Coast. Generally, West Coast IPAs would be brilliantly clear, but
But didn't they say it was a hazy one?
no.
Oh,
No,
I missed that.
it very specifically says it is a West Coast IPA.
Oh,
If it's a New England IPA, then yeah, it would be expected to be hazy. But this is a West Coast, so yeah, definitely got a lot of dank bitterness in there. A little bit of citrus comes through. Once again, I'm underwhelmed by the carbonation on this beer. Got a pretty good balance of the bitterness. It's not terribly bitter, but I'd say that's a drinkable IPA. It's not stellar or standout, but
cheers. I like that it's not strong in hop bitterness. Bitterness. It's a very easy drinking IPA that is low in bitterness, in my opinion.
it's not low in bitterness. It's probably 60 IBUs or so.
All right, then
But it's balanced.
help me explain how to describe. Because to me, like
It's a little bit different for an IPA. So it's bitter, but it's got a balancing sweetness. It's not dried out like a lot of your West Coast IPAs would be. It's not as dry.
which is where the juicy comes from.
Yeah, so they made kind of a under-attenuated West Coast IPA. So it doesn't taste as bitter as you would think it does because, I mean, that's what hops are for to begin with, is to kind of balance the bitterness and the sweetness. So anyway.
Thank you for helping with that.
Yeah. So this is the Mi Espresso Irish Coffee Red Ale.
This is for the team.
Yep, so Laurie does not like coffee, but she's going to try it anyway.
That smells like a, now again, understand, you guys all know I do not drink coffee, okay? So when I use my descriptors, they're gonna be from an outside coffee drinker. So when I smell this, it smells like a coffee mate or one of those sweetened coffee creamers in a coffee. So this is, because I do get some of that coffee, but more sweet, so.
It's supposed to be a little bit sweet and creamy.
I might be able to drink this.
Uh-oh.
That's actually pretty good. I don't get a lot of the coffee flavor per se. That the back end roast and like that really, like you know, for an espresso, this isn't the espresso.
Yeah, this is the espresso.
Okay. That to me, I would think would be a very strong roast or coffee flavor. This has more sweet notes in it that would make it drinkable, and I could see how they would talk about the creaminess on that.
All right.
Low in carb, also, I thought.
Okay, we can get a pretty good look at it there. It's fairly clear, but not brilliantly clear. Yeah, I do get the coffee and the aroma. It's more like brewed coffee aroma than like coffee and beer aroma. You know, normally if you add coffee to a beer, it gets a certain flavor. This is more like a brewed coffee aroma.
Maybe that's why, because of the creamer.
Yeah. And I'm not sure about the creamer, but it does kind of smell like a coffee that's got some kind of sweetened creamer added to it. So that's kind of the aroma that you get. Like I said, brewed coffee, not coffee added to beer.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That is very much like a Starbucks coffee, maybe a cold Starbucks coffee.
I could see that would be pretty popular.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that would be pretty popular. Once again, like you said, the carbonation levels are a little bit on the low side. Maybe that's par for the course. Maybe that's just the level they carbonate their beers to. So,
You like it?
yeah, I can drink a pint of this.
Okay, so out of all the ones that we've had so far, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've had 6.
We've had 6, yes.
Which do you like the best?
I'd say probably this one is my favorite so far. So.
My favorite thus far, the Oktoberfest, with the coffee coming in second.
And that is an amazing tale,
Well, that's
guys.
because there's not a lot of coffee taste. Like the coffee's not strong. That's why.
Okay, so next up is the Plum Street Honey Sour Ale. So they took their Plum Street Mule, which is a winter sour with notes of spicy and earthy ginger, balanced out with juicy and aromatic plum. Create a cold weather brew, and then they add honey to that to give it a touch of sweetness. So you're gonna have should have like a sweet sour.
I was just gonna say, so
earthy.
it's a sour with some sweetness.
Yeah.
And ginger.
And ginger.
Huh. Okay, get the ginger, very apparent. I get the sour, not overpowering. The sweetness kind of balances it out. I can't say I get much plum, but there is another flavor there. I can't put my finger on it. So I'm hoping that it's the plum, but my taste buds are potentially shot. I don't know.
Let's see how this does. Yeah, definitely get the ginger on the nose. That's right up front. Not really getting much honey or anything else. And the ginger is not that dominant. The ginger is actually fairly muted. Okay, I can definitely get hints of that, the Moscow Mule with the ginger and the sour. And then the honey comes through on the back end.
Do you get plum?
This actually seems to have a little bit higher carbonation. Or at least it gives that impression on the mouthfeel. It's not as sour as some of the other ones, like the Goza.
And I think it's because of the honey.
Could be
Yeah.
that the honey just kind of cuts some of that sour.
Yeah.
But not a bad beer. I mean, if you're a
No.
sour drinker, you probably enjoy this.
Yeah, I liked it.
I'm not a big sour drinker, but to each their own.
Corey may not be a sour drinker, but his judginess in there, he's a judge.
Yeah.
He can judge a beer objectively, which is why I said I was going to try the coffee, because I want to do the same thing and be objective about it. Just because I don't drink it doesn't mean it's not a good drinkable beer.
Right.
This one's a good one. I have to say that I am very excited for this last beer because I do love a good Flanders Red.
I do too.
But that's me. And Flanders typically are a vinegary kind of tasting beer.
Yeah.
And I love vinegar. Love it. So I hope it does not disappoint. Are you ready? Oh, it's got the nose.
It's got the nose now.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to let Corey taste before we discuss.
Okay. I also like a Flanders Red. Not a beer that I'm going to drink every day, but when it comes to pairing food and beer, one of the best pairings I ever had was Flanders Red and blue cheese. It was just outstanding. So, yep, that definitely has the nose of a Flanders Red. Smells exactly like what you'd expect. Because it's you get a little bit of that acetic vinegar smell, and you get a little bit of the underlying maltiness, almost like malt vinegar, but not as strong. All right.
Don't say anything. Take your second sip.
Holy sh!
Just take another sip. Now let's stop the camera for a minute.
Okay. That beer is bad. That beer is infected with something that should not be in there. It's got a Band-Aid type flavor to it. That is an obvious flaw. Very strong. Somewhat medicinal.
I mean, you get the vinegar in there, and I want to.
Yeah, you get the vinegar.
You really do.
You can taste the underlying beer. Unfortunately, it's been infected with something that should not be in a beer.
Right, because I got both.
Yeah.
And that's why I wasn't sure, and
And
I had to talk to you about that.
That's something that can happen to a beer because a Flanders Red is an old beer. I mean, this is a beer that's been aged and at least 6 months, and then normally they'll blend it back with a new beer to get that complex flavor. Unfortunately, they have some kind of nastiness going on in their process, and that is not the way a Flanders Red is supposed to taste, unfortunately. Honestly, I'm surprised that they put it on tap.
Maybe they don't know.
It's really that bad. So guys, we just wanted to let you know that our ultimate mission is to be honest with you.
Yes.
Not to
Good, bad, indifferent.
good, bad, or indifferent. We don't want to be hypercritical about anybody, especially other businesses and things like that, because we own a business, we run a business.
Small business, of
It's
course.
a small
I know all that
business.
stuff, yes.
And we know how that works, but at the same time, we've got an obligation to you guys who are watching us and getting recommendations from us to let you know the truth. So
Right.
if something's not right, it's not right.
Right.
And you know, for the most part, the beers here have been good.
Yes.
There's some that just have some
Just some
definite
things.
issues.
Yeah.
Me personally, at least with one of these beers, I would not have put it on. I would have dumped it. But that's just me. Every business owner runs their business
And
their
maybe
way.
they don't know.
And maybe they don't know.
Right,
Maybe this is something that's happened in the keg, and no one has brought it to the brewer's notice.
Correct.
It's happened to me. You
Right.
know? I've had beers that something happened after it was kegged, and I wasn't aware of it
Until a customer said something.
complained about it. So
Right.
yeah.
And so that's why, you know, even for us, give feedback if you can. You don't have to be a jerk about it, but, you know, maybe say something to give them a heads up. Just
Yeah.
say, hey, you know, this one tasted a little off. I just wanted you to know. Something
Yep.
like that. So,
And we'll probably give that feedback as well. So
yes.
all right, guys,
We're back in our room.
we are. So that finishes our first few hours in Macon.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoy this. We brought you along with us. And hope you've had fun.
Yeah.
We sure have.
And if you haven't done so already and you like what you see, give us a thumbs up.
Absolutely.
It really means a lot to us.
And hit the subscribe button. And when you do that, make sure you turn on the notification bell so you never miss new videos that we put out.
Yes, you don't want to miss.
That's for sure. All right, guys, until next time, from peaks to tides.
See you on the next ride.